Hey, Eddie RMG here, back with a very special video review, first impression video on the Sense Herakles Pro. Now, Michael from Sense, who you remember from our Herakles RTA2 video, was nice enough to send this to me for the purpose of review. He's let us know that there were a couple new products coming out, and this is the latest version of the Herakles tank. So this video is kind of going to go over a review of the tank, what I think of it, the packaging, everything that goes into this tank, and we at Yeti Vape are trying to source this tank right now to be able to sell it to you guys. We hopefully are pretty close to that point in time, but right now we do not have this tank available, so this is just going to be a review on the actual tank itself and the packaging. I won't have any linked for purchase currently. So let's get into the packaging first. So as a lot of people have seen with the new Herakles packaging, it switched to a white packaging from the black, which I really do like. I do like the packaging. It is very clean looking, kind of more premium. The black packaging is really nice, but I do like this white packaging. Inside, very similar to how the other tanks are set up. You have the tank and then your goodie section that's in here. When getting into the goodie section, one of the first things that you're going to notice is this warning label. So the warning label that's on this is basically telling you not to use it as a hybrid connection with a mechanical, which is very important. I mean, a lot of people did not know when they were first starting, if they were inexperienced with using hybrids, that with a protruding 510 pin and that it could be potentially dangerous. So it was causing some battery short issues, some battery failure issues when people were using replaceable coil tanks with a mechanical hybrid connection. It's just great that they have this warning label in there. I mean, it is fantastic. It's nice and bold as well. So, I mean, you're definitely going to be able to see it when you open it up, and hopefully you take the time to read it. For the people that don't see this review, take the time to read it so they'll know not to use it as a hybrid connection with a mechanical setup. So inside here, there's the goodies. Has the 0.4 coil as a replacement coil. Usually the 0.4 coil is the one that's included in the tank. However, with this newest Herakles Pro and also the Herakles Honor, Sense has a brand new coil, and we're going to go into that one as well. So the 0.4 coil comes as a replacement coil, does come with a replacement piece of glass as well, and then some spare O-rings in there as well, which is great because it's great that we have the spare O-rings. In case something happens to the stock O-rings or they wear, we have the ability to replace them now rather than having to buy a brand new tank. So the tank itself. One of the first things that you're going to notice, I mean, design-wise, it looks beautiful. It could be the prettiest looking tank that's ever existed, but if it doesn't perform, you know, it's an attractive tank that doesn't perform. This tank does perform, and we'll get into that a little bit. One of the first things as well, that when you open this up, you're going to see that the machining quality on this is fantastic. Sense did a fantastic, I can't keep saying, I gotta stop saying fantastic, but they did a fantastic job on the machining. Very, very smooth. Every thread on this that I have been able to test has been just buttery, buttery smooth. It just, when you first open it up to expose the coil, you're gonna just see the smoothness of the threading. The 510 threading, it threads onto the device like butter. The top, for filling, as a top fill tank, this does fill from the top, is very, very smooth. Does have some resistance because of the fact that there's an O-ring in there to prevent leaking, but very smooth. The juice flow control, I mean, just very, very smooth. Just everything on this, the threading and the machining quality is just top notch and very, very nice. Okay, so take a couple hits, tell you what I think about the actual tank itself. So before getting into that, the actual new coil, which you guys aren't going to believe when I start talking about it. Tank design-wise, airflow, it's fair. It's a decent amount of airflow. I do like a lot of airflow with my tanks. This has a decent amount of airflow. Definitely not the most closed off that I've ever had, but not as wide open as some of the RTAs and like a dripper that you'll have. So a little bit restricted lung inhale on the airflow, but it does definitely have enough to satisfy me as someone that likes wide open air. It performs very similarly airflow-wise to the Herakles V2, which was the Herakles Plus without the top airflow. So it doesn't have that top airflow of the Herakles Plus, but you're definitely going to get a decent amount of airflow and air draw. It's not, you know, it's not a bad amount of airflow by any stretch of the imagination, but definitely not as wide open as some of the rebuildables that are out there, the RTAs that are available. the steam engine or anything like that that has a ridiculous amount of airflow. This does not have a ridiculous amount of airflow to it. Not a bad thing. Some people don't like as much air draw as I do in terms of being wide open. So, I mean, you know, it finds a nice balance of being able to be closed down to have a more tight for a mouth to lung if you decide to use it that way, or you can open it wide open and you get a decent amount of airflow out of it. Airflow aside, the coil. I'm going to take a couple hits on this and then I'm going to talk about the coil. So the coil that Sense went with, the brand new coil, is a ceramic hybrid coil. I have not opened one up to take a look at it yet. I just know that it's ceramic. It's a 1.8 ohm coil. If I had not told you this was a 1.8 ohm coil and was taking direct lung inhales like that, you wouldn't have believed it. But this is their 1.8 ohm coil. It is rated between 20 and 50 watts. I was able to get it up to about 42 watts before it started feeling like it was going a little bit dry and was changing the flavor on me. Currently I'm vaping and getting that vapor production off of 38 watts on a 1.8 ohm coil. So I'm going to take another hit just to show off the vapor production. Full deep lung inhales, 1.8 ohm coil, fantastic. I mean, a lot of people are going for a smaller 1 battery setup. I'm obviously going for a 3 battery setup, but you're going to notice that your battery life is just going to be able to be extended exponentially running this type of, getting that type of vapor production and that type of heat and hit off of a 1.8 ohm coil is, I don't know how they did it. I mean, honestly, it is fantastic. It is great. I'm going to show you the fill on this as well, show you how I fill it, because one of the issues that some of the people that have gotten these tanks was leaking. Now, I've been using this for about a day now. I have not had any leaking issues. I don't know if it's how they're filling it. So I'm going to go over how I refill this. Also about the e-liquid that's being used. Since I talked to Mike directly, he let me know that with this 1.8 ohm head that you're going to want to be using a max VG of about 70% VG or higher. A lot of people like 50-50 blends in their e-liquid. I use max VG pretty much all the time, you know, 70-80% VG. But I guess this coil for the 1.8 ohm coil, you want to use 70% VG or higher. Now for filling, I'm going to fill this just how I was filling the Herakles Plus to prevent leaking or to prevent any issues. So turning off the airflow first, turning off the juice flow control, my apologies first, turning off the airflow, just make sure everything's closed up. Opening the top, you'll be able to see just how you fill it. I am vaping Papa Squatch right now from Yeti, so we're just going to get this filled up. And then before getting everything back opened up, putting the top back on, I turn it over. Turning it over will not let any juice expose to the coil before you start using it. It's just better in terms of preventing leaking issues, opening back up the airflow, opening back up the juice flow, then turning it over to start using it. I just can't get over the heat, the vape off of 1.8 ohm coil on this. It is just, I wasn't expecting it. When I saw the 1.8 ohm coils were the ones that were included with it, I was like, okay, so I'll swap it out for the 0.4 coil for the purpose of review. When I tried the 1.8 ohm head, I wouldn't think that I'd be getting an enjoyable vape off of a 1.8 ohm coil. So what do I think about this tank? I mean, just well done. I mean, just so well done by Sense. Design-wise, it looks really nice. It's not, you know, ultra flashy, but it definitely stands out. It definitely looks great. Vapor production on it, again, off the 1.8 ohm head has just been a joy. It's been a pleasure to vape it at 1.8 ohms. It hits really well. Airflow on it is good. I mean, I can't say, it's a great tank. It's great. They did a very good job on this tank. So Yeti Army, until next time, thank you for taking the time to watch the review and the first impression video on the brand new Sense Herakles Pro. Hopefully, again, like I said, we'll have these available for purchase soon. But until next time, guys, vape on and Yeti Army.